forever.
That's right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. I am going to call this regular session meeting of the Perry Township Board of Trustees for sure business pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I need to open the
Yes.
public hearing now.
Correct.
Is that by roll call vote?
It is.
Okay, I'm going to call the public hearing to consider resolution of Perry Township Board of Trustees proposes a text amendment to the Perry Township zoning resolution, case number 156-RZ-2022.
Mr. English,
Yes.
Mr. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. Roper.
Yes.
Any public comment? Seeing none, hearing none. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, seeing none. So I need to close the public hearing and then we vote on it.
No, you need to vote first and then.
Okay, then close. Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt the resolution for case number 156-RZ-2022?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I will second. Vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Did he need to read out modification attachment or no?
That's a good one, Joe. Thank you.
Good idea.
Good idea. There was one modification since the planning commission sent. And basically it's there was a question by one of the planning commission about the current R4 zoning that's under attachment 1. If nobody has any questions about it, any comments, questions on it?
What's the modification again? I apologize.
So I'll read it.
Okay.
Each legally subdivided lot of record in the R4 suburban residential district existing prior to the effective date of amendment case number 156-RZ-2022 may contain one single-family dwelling on the lot in accordance with the lot area and coverage, lot width, and side yard requirements in effect immediately prior to the effective date. Variance of any development standard other than the minimum lot area, maximum lot coverage, maximum lot width, and minimum required side yard shall be obtained only through the action of the Board of Zoning Appeals. In layman's terms, that means if you decide that you want to tear your house down and build, you are allowed to rebuild it with the same situation that you currently have right now, that is currently here right now.
Okay.
Without going to the board or getting it approved. So it was just
So it has to have the same footprint.
same footprint.
Oh, yeah, the footprint can move. The size of the house can change, but you're only entitled to one single family dwelling on that lot. So if you wanted to put 2 single family dwelling, it would not work. You'd be under the new zoning.
So this is, so my motion, if I can back up on my motion.
Yes.
So I move to approve the text amendment as designated in case number 156-RZ-2022 with the one modification of section 308.045 as outlined by the chair. So that's
What is 308.45?
That's what's on it.
That's the addition of 308.405 non-conforming lots. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
and I so move.
I'll second. Vote.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Joe, for that. Section. So I'm going to close the public hearing. Is that by roll call vote? Yes. All right.
Mr. English.
Yes.
Mr. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. Roper.
Yes.
Okay, on to the minutes. I am looking for a motion to approve the regular session minutes of March the 7th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second vote.
Yes.
Yes. Looking for the approval of the special minutes of March 10th, the morning session.
So moved.
Second vote.
Yes.
Yes. Then looking for the special session minutes of March 10th in the afternoon that had to do with the Franklin County drainage project in Worthington Hills.
Oh, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second vote. Yes.
I was not.
Correct. Public comment period, Brookside,
Nothing to report.
Worthington Hills.
Worthington Hills is having their annual membership meeting on the 6th of April, I believe, at the country club. At which time they will be voting on their board members. I believe that's an it at this point.
Anything else?
We didn't think about the Sunny 95 lot for yet.
Nothing other than what I've shared, but
Okay.
I will follow up with you and give you more details. I have it.
Thank you, Ray. So their garage sale is on the 14th of this Worthing Hills. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Garage sales on the 14th of May, a week after the Worthington fire smoke detector replacement program. So
Interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
14.
14th,
Your graduation parties and stuff coming up.
May 14th.
Well, I mean, going up towards, it seems like people had them a few weeks before, but
Oh, I didn't say it.
I'm sure you do. Just comment.
What's the times of the garage sale that day?
I'm gonna assume it's from like 9 to 2, but I'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually should have told you when ours is. It's in June, where June 11th.
June 11th.
10 to 2.
10 to 2. Thank you.
Epcon Ravella.
Meeting is April, what is it?
It should be April 5th.
Tuesday.
Yeah. We did, I and Chief and we attended one of their board meetings last week. Explained about the no parking resolution that the board passed. So I think everybody's set on
Board with
that.
that.
end. And then obviously we all received an invite for the night out in August. So you should all receive that invite.
Anything else?
No.
Zoning. Attachment petition.
Sure, we have turned in our last attachment petition, so far as any homes that had annexed under type 2 are concerned. So, yeah, in horse races, the folks coming back came out a little bit ahead of the folks who chose to go to Columbus. So I did want to thank Chat for going door to door much of the time to get the last few people who weren't responding to my emails and my calls to them. But the last couple came in on Friday, and Chief, that went down today, correct,
Yes,
to the commissioner's office. We have 3 on the commissioner's agenda this Tuesday. So within another week, we'll have those 3 back in. And that piece of it is closed, so. Let's work on it.
Yeah, good job.
You just think that everybody.
What's that?
What was
I
that?
was frustrated.
Yeah, he was frustrated,
That's hard to believe, that not getting everyone.
Okay.
but,
You.
but there was a lot of door knocking going on, and I think in the end, Township came out ahead, so.
Anything else under zoning? Do we want to cover any updates on Brookside? Under this or under your section?
Chief and I reviewed the application. It appears to be complete. There's a couple of things that are different than what we discussed, but nothing major to stop it from moving forward. So to address those, Chief and I'll plan on getting together some time to go through it in detail.
But that doesn't, if it's complete, we should get
Get the
something scheduled.
notifications of that rolling then.
Yeah, so whenever, the email said that it's like as soon, so you gotta advertise it for 10 days and then we're allowed to hear it.
Right, right.
Okay.
So, I'll get with John on, I think it's a good idea for John to see that whole process.
Yeah.
So I'll get with him, on Wednesday and we'll get those notifications out to the newspaper and, going to have to go ahead. I'm sure there's notifications to anyone that's abutting those properties.
Do we need, I don't think we need to.
Not for this one.
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So that would be the only part that we don't have to is notification, because that happened under the zoning. The zoning was approved, so all this is doing is pulling it right. pulling it
Oh, okay,
down under
okay.
everything, So,
And
All right,
They
that's
owe
good.
you a check for 1,500, so before you schedule it, make sure you get $1,500.
There was a check that you had, Mary, hold from the
Yeah.
last time.
How much was it?
I'm not sure. I can go grab it.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't have to grab it right now, but if you let us know so we can reach out to Max, let him know what the balance is.
Okay.
and then once we have that date scheduled, Beth, for the hearing, I can let Max know, just so he knows it's scheduled. and
Sure.
everything. Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
I wanted to add that we have several new board members, so I've set up zoning board training with Jim Huber. That's gonna be tomorrow night via Zoom at 6 o'clock. So she'll be going through the responsibilities of zoning commission, the BZA, and I'll still be touching on the ethics piece to it as well. She put on a great presentation last year, so I think it's gonna be helpful.
Do you need me there, Beth?
Hmm?
Do you need me there?
It's all Zoom. You don't need, no, not unless you wanna be.
All right, development director.
Maybe Beth's got some more input. I don't know what's going on with Yepcon. I requested from PETA status on the letter that was supposed to go out. Apparently, there's been some other correspondence that's gone directly through you.
Yeah, you didn't get my email this morning?
I got that, but I have no idea where it came from or what was, and the development agreement's not listed in
I
there.
think the last time we talked, we were gonna put a letter together, have the 3 board members sign it and send it over, so.
Well,
Yeah.
Rob McCarthy called me this morning and he said that they have the timeline. Their intent is to move forward with this and with the board approving it at the first meeting in June. So with that said, we didn't see that there was gonna be, I did express to him, the board wants this moving.
Yeah.
And now, so that sounds, according to Rob, that's on the right track now.
So are we paying Rob, like, what's our exposure to Rob? I know he's not cheap.
$4.60 an hour.
Is it?
But you briefly talked to him, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a maybe 2-minute conversation,
Okay. All right.
so if even.
Yeah.
That was
I'm-
pretty
I'm-
short and sweet.
I don't know what's going on because what was supposed to happen was Epcon and then we're supposed to create the development agreement. We haven't seen the development agreement. There's nothing really mentioned in there about the development agreement. They talk about the TIF agreement. So that's up to Rob and Pete or whoever, but obviously it's being handled by somebody else, so whoever.
Well, I was dealing with the TIF agreement. So, which my understanding, they had they were dealing with both.
Development, development
No
agreement?
correspondence
I was
with
just
me,
way
so I
off.
got no.
What's the development agreement? So it's
Kind of
part of the-
outlines what it is, what the agreement is, what the parties agreed to, et cetera. et
Yeah, that's
cetera.
what Rob was.
Let me interrupt real
Thank
quick. Your
you.
battery's low. Okay, so that goes off, we're in trouble.
Thank you. My understanding is whatever document he's dealing with is to include all of that, Joe. Chuck, did you have anything?
But I didn't know about. All I kept hearing was TIF, and when I saw that was.
That's
TIF
fine.
agreement
I just
was-
don't
Yeah, my
know anything
understanding is
to
it's
give
supposed
anybody
to
an
have-
update because I wasn't involved in any of it, so.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? Road department.
No new information on the Worthington Hills Drainage Project. We have a meeting scheduled for April 7th to review the summary from Sam Snyder. And tonight I'd like to ask the board to approve the 2022 resurfacing project through the county. Again, request the board to approve us to spend $250,530.85 for the 2022 resurfacing. That to include Oakbourne Drive, Clubview North, Oliver, Evangeline, Caruso, Breckenridge, Treadway, and Penn Dennis.
So the only question I had on that was, the Sammy is that slurry that they put over the top, right?
It is basically the fiber mat. It's
Oh,
a fiber mat material. It's not as,
But that's what they do when they mill it, then they'll put the thing, then they do the fiber mat, and then they pave over. It's the same thing that we did on Clubview.
it's the same thing,
All
yeah.
right,
You did that on Darwin, right? That's the
Yes.
same.
County does Sammy. It's about 80% effective compared to the fiber mat. It's same material.
what's the cost of the fiber mat? Because I gotta tell you, whatever we did on South and North, I mean, if it's the same thing, I mean, there are no cracks whatsoever. And so if we're changing,
Well,
my
we've been
only
using the
hesitancy.
fiber or the Sammy for. Clubview was the only fiber mat ever since it's been Sammy on Oakbourne.
yeah.
Um,
So you don't want to do that same treatment on the Clubview North part of it?
We'd have to go out separately from the county to bid in the fiber mat. He bids it out as Sammy. We'd have to coordinate with whoever they came in to do the asphalt and then separately get quotes from Strasser to do the fiber mat.
Because the only comment I'm gonna say is with the amount of traffic that gets on that section, with how well Clubview North and South have done. The question is, do we wanna, I mean, I'd almost say like, it'd be worth going out separate bid to make sure, because that gets so much traffic that to make sure that we've got that locked in. But, again, I'm just raising the,
Well, when I talked to Mark about it, he's pretty confident with the way the Sammy. He compares them really close to.
Let me ask you this, if we were to go out to bid separately,
We would have to get quotes. Strasser's the only one locally, if well. Strasser, the only one that does the fiber mat locally.
they're the
We
only
would-
ones.
but we could approve a contract with them up to a certain
Up
amount.
to certain amount,
Do
yes.
we know what that amount is?
Well, we can approve up to 28.9, I think, without going into the prevailing wage.
Yeah,
Over that, you guys can approve up to 50,000. But that, then the prevailing wage,
is the county doing that fiber mat anywhere else? And
no,
then,
it's all Stanley with Mark. They
So
don't, they don't do the fiber.
Is Mark willing to put his name on it, that if we see any cracks, he'll do it at his cost? For the,
Well, we've seen the same.
I mean, there's a deal if you can get that.
if he loves the Sammy, then I'm like, all right, let's put your money where your mouth is. No, I gotta tell you, I walk that all the time, and
Oh, wow.
it just blows me away. I
Oh, I
mean, the
agree.
amount of, typically, you see the deterioration that we've seen in those high traffic areas, like and that's been in for what, 5-6 years now?
In 2016.
Yeah,
Up to south,
North was the first, and then south was the year after.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, like, I walk out all the time, I'm still not seeing anything, and I'm like,
It is amazing.
if we get less, here's the way I look at it, if we get less asphalt done, but over the long term, we're not replacing it, it's worth it 100%. And I don't know what the cost difference is between the Sammy and the fiber mat. I know that Strasser is the only one that does it, but Holy cow.
I think there's a right around $1 to $1.50 price difference. The Sammy is still doing the same thing, like that underlayment. It's-
Right.
With the stones, it's filling those cracks, so that slows that reflection.
But what I was understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I understood the fiber mat, is that when you're laying that fiber down, it creates that web, and that web is what if there's anything, if we're just putting gravel under it, that gravel doesn't do
Oh, I
this.
agree. It's,
Yeah, so that's what I guess I'm getting at, is like, if we're in these like high traffic areas that, that's like cars are just constantly running over it. Would that make more sense to do that, even if we have to push it a year? Like, I know Clubview North has been, it's there, it's kind of cracking and everything, but even if we waited a year to get it, I'm telling you, I'm just raising the question. I'd almost wait a year to get it into the budget and do it than to,
I prefer to wait and see what instead of pushing it, try to get it onto this.
yeah, I mean, if we can, that would be awesome.
So, okay,
I just need I won't be here for the next meeting.
okay.
We need to get something back to Mark soon after the next meeting,
So you
How
said
much
roughly $1.50 more a square yard.
is what I've been told.
So that would be an additional $20,050
On,
on,
those-
on the top. Oh, well, I added up all of those.
Oh, on all of those?
Yeah,
Should that be worth it? 'Cause you won't be.
if that's, and I'm
We
not
would
saying you're
have to
wrong, I just mean the $1.50,
It's $1.50 times the
the
square yard.
right?
Is $1.50 per square yard?
Or square foot.
Or
sorry,
something.
on top of the 1190 square yard.
It's usually.
Square yard.
Okay. So what I'm hearing Mr. English say is if we were to modify this proposal to include that material, we would still have enough time immediately after the next meeting, right? To get it to Mark?
I'll reach out, I'll send Straws an email.
Make sure that they can do fiber mat and how
It's just-
much it is. And
It just needs coordinated.
okay,
I mean, we might have, like right now, they mill it in their contract. They've got it all lined up when they mill.
With the
They've got
sanding.
so many square yards to come out. They've got to come in and do that Sammy. So they're coordinating already within the county. We just have to coordinate outside with somebody else to be prepared to come in, the county's gonna be there to mill.
so with that additional 20,000, can we still do
Just about.
the same number
They paid.
of square yards? Can we still do the project that you're proposing right here?
I mean, it's gonna be quite a bit higher. I mean, with her math, that's puts us up to 270,000.
I'm just double checking myself just to make sure.
It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing.
Let's look at
Yeah.
I think it's-
$20,050.
it.
That's what
Let's look at it.
I think
if it's $1.50,
Yeah,
If we have time to get it into Mark, and the fact is, it's more, we understand it's more money and coordination has to occur.
Well, Mark's not gonna be the bid. His bid would drop,
Right.
and we would
just two.
go out elsewhere for the quote for the stamp.
So how, I guess if his bid drops because Sammy's not included in the bid. And we insert fiber mat instead of Sammy. Maybe it's not as much as we think it is.
Well, I think the Sammy in here, and it might not be as much, but
How much do you think the Sammy is per square yard?
in here, I'm pretty sure he's got added,
Not holding you to it.
I'm gonna say 250
250 what?
square
square
yard.
yard.
Is probably what he's got in here for the Sammy.
And fiber mat is $1.50 a square yard?
Additional to this. So then
Additional
you're
to
saying it's
that,
like
oh.
$4 a square yard.
So it's still, yeah. Fiber metal, yeah.
Either way,
that's
there's
what we
gonna
do.
be an increase of 20 grand.
Well,
And
in
that's if
my,
you did I mean, if you do everything, if the
And-
concern is just club view or some portion.
well,
then-
and the other part, so you know you gotta do Oakborn, because isn't that the one that
We
you
gotta do
guys saying,
Oakborn.
Clubview North? I don't know if you can drop off, you know, because of the increased costs in Clubview Boulevard North, keep within your budget, do you drop? You know, like Breckenridge way off this year and go to, you know, push it to next year. I just think it's worth the additional cost to do it, and then maybe you just push one of those ones that you want to get done to next year.
Okay. Let's take,
Knocking off about 10% of your project.
Yeah,
yeah,
Completing 90% of the roadway you want.
the way you want it.
and we don't have any other road work in any of the other areas, other neighborhoods this year.
No. 285 is what the tap coat, which Sammy was it
285 a square yard.
last year.
Okay.
Uh, So it might not be as $1.50. When I quoted it 3 years ago, it was 3.
But these days, everything.
Well, and here's the other
You don't
thing, so
know.
we're falling back into the same thing that way back when I was when the oil prices spiked again, you know. We went to more doing concrete work instead of asphalt, just because of the increased cost of the oil prices and everything like that. I don't know if we've looked at that, because we may want to just do what we got to do to get through the oil prices come down and then asphalt prices come down. So,
Well, that's what's shocking on this. The resurfacing the estimate. You know, we've always budgeted $13 a square yard.
yeah,
This is what Mark has always told me to budget, $13 a square yard. If there's more full depth repairs, just raise it from there. This year, his quote came in at $11.90
Huh.
a square yard. That's with the sand. Our estimate from last year's resurfacing was 240, and the invoice came in at 197.
Okay.
So
So it
the
wasn't
prices
that bad.
haven't fluctuated on it as much as we would think, but
okay.
walk it down.
Let's do, let's do this. Let's table this for now, and let's get some information from Strasser, see what we got, and insert it for the Sammy and see what we can get done. I mean, even if we had to take one of the smaller streets off, we will.
I would say Breckenridge and Treadway. I added those when the quote came in.
Yeah.
Because they're on our list for next year.
Who's on the list for next year?
But you don't get five of that.
I was gonna say, what's the poorest
You don't
quality product you
generate-
got?
What's the next best thing above fiber?
Oh, geez.
Just going with marble. Is that
Well,
okay?
the truck is
Granite?
Favors.
Pavers.
Favors,
The
gold.
moss in
Yeah.
between. and, you
Heated
know.
base.
No, I just,
Don't
I
give them any
know,
ideas.
I know that you want to get it, but I just think it's worth the effort to look at it, because it.
He does like
makes a big
fiber,
difference.
man.
It
Oh,
is.
He's talked about it forever. So, let's see if we can't get it
For him.
inserted, just for Andy, just no.
I agree. I like the fiber
No,
mat.
to his point, it does look good. It really does over time.
Well, and then if we're doing less repair on it. that-
Yeah, that's
It's
the,
saving money
yeah.
in the long run. So, yeah, let's look at it. Okay.
Before we move on from road, can I ask a question?
No, you can't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can you refresh my memory, because I truly do not recall how do we do volunteer groups to try to get the garbage cleaned up from the hill?
The dip, yeah. No volunteer. The guys usually walk that and clean it up when they're mowing in the summer.
Okay,
And it's usually on our spring list to do
Got
this down there.
okay. I didn't know if I needed to try to get volunteers. I just couldn't remember. And now that, of course, the snow has thawed and everything is,
That's a good spot for It's hidden cameras to find out who's throwing it all out down there.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
We mow once a month
Mhm.
at least. The guys are picking up a large bag of trash every time they mow.
I don't doubt it. And then, of course, over the winter and everything, you have the whole accumulation. And that's what, of course, where they were also dropping the packages, the stolen packages. That's the same area because it's just that hidden spot. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for letting me know.
Fire and EMS,
Nothing to report.
police department.
Nothing to report except I have finalized, thanks to Luke, have finalized our year-end report for last year. And we'll be sending it out this week and posting on our website. For the Hot Collaborative, I have to have one posted on our website.
Madam Administrator.
Let's see. Oh, the first thing the township has the opportunity to increase the vehicle license tax by $5. It's been done throughout the state of Ohio. With the drainage projects coming up on the horizon here, we were trying to find ways to find money to fund those projects when they're there. The state, it's a process, it's a couple-month process. So the first thing the trustees would need to do would be to set 2 public hearing dates. So that public can comment. It will be posted in the newspaper, of course. What if the board chooses to approve the resolution, that would increase the revenue for that type of project about $19,000 a year. And all it is an extra $5 per year per car registration, which would include.
Didn't we
trucks
do
and
that
sort of
once
thing.
before? And we were the only ones in like Franklin County who
Correct.
were doing it at the lower level.
Right, correct, you're right. And this time, the process is different. That's the only thing is we have to go through the public clearings and that sort of thing, which is fine. So my request would be to set the public hearing dates for the first meeting and second meeting in April during our regular board meeting. If I could get a motion for that, please.
Mr. Chair, I move to set the 2 hearing dates for the purpose of considering levying a $5 motor vehicle registration tax on all vehicles registered in unincorporated areas of Perry Township pursuant to 4504.181. Hearing dates for April the 4th and 18th of April at 6:30 at Perry Township Hall.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
That doesn't go on the ballot, that if we hear these 2
No.
hearings and we don't get anybody that says anything, it's
Well, there's a wait, there's a 30-day wait,
right.
Yes.
Okay.
So it has to, there's a
Right.
30-day wait after you're approved to make sure that there's no concerns from.
And so we can also, for just accounting purposes, we can internally code this separately so that we know that it goes in.
We can certainly do that. The motor vehicle tax has its own fund, but we can do a secondary sub-account to track that
So
information.
when we
for
start
drainage.
looking at those stormwater
Right.
infrastructure, we can say.
But it can only be used for road projects.
Correct. Yeah, there's different road projects you can
Right.
use it for, but I think, I think
Little
our
plate for
goal though is
some
to
fun.
start setting money aside just for this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
I wanted
Wait,
to.
wait.
Oh, wait,
I
we
need
need
a
a
second.
second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
It's rolling.
Vote,
Yes.
yes.
I just have 10 words. I love it.
I wanted this to be a long meeting. So
Right. So I did want to kind of update the board on the motion to intervene with the OPEC situation. First, Paul Lafayette has moved to a different firm, but he is continuing this case. So everyone started with him, so looks like everyone's going to stay with him. I asked for a brief update. Things really haven't moved anywhere because the past 2 years have been filled with audits, both from the receivership and from the state. So they are in stayed. I had to ask him to make sure stayed meant hanging around, pause. So, so that's as good as the update's gonna get on that today. So, but it's still on the radar and Paul is still leading that case. Okay. Yeah, I guess the only other piece of news is that Luke is back from his very first cruise. It sounds like the jury's still out whether or not he liked it, but he is back. He's gonna be finishing up the Rumpke survey. We'll send it out to y'all one more time, just to make sure everything's good. He's also gonna go right to work on the newsletter. He hopes to have a draft to the board, I believe, end of next week, so that we can get that up as well. The next thing on my agenda is the ARP funding request. This is related to the water and sewer tap and fee reimbursements. The owner of 2492 West Dublin Granville Road is now back at the township, as is the residents of 3485 Skyline Drive. So I'm going to be requesting 1-inch water tap and fee reimbursement for the amount of $2,242 for John McCabe, the owner of Dublin Granville Road location. He also owns, it is put in a request for the sewer tap and fee reimbursement of $5,074. Finally, we have a sewer tap and fee reimbursement of $3,044 for Richard and Helen Becker at 3485 Skyline Drive. So I am in total requesting an expenditure be paid through the ARPA funds in the amount not to exceed $10,360.
And I still move, Mr. Chairman.
Second vote,
Yes.
yes.
Okey-doke, and that is all I have. Thank you.
That's coming around here next, gentlemen. The resolution.
Oh, okay. Fiscal officer,
Request a motion for approval of payroll and disbursements.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Vote,
Yes.
yes. Anything else? Good cause. Hearing none, I move to adjourn.
Second.
Vote,
Yes.
yes.